Prostoru.
I mean, it's so symbolic. Like, Tolstoy couldn't write anything more tragic. It's such a, full circle of how this man completely changed her life, and for good or for bad, or I don't know. And in many ways, I think if we would have followed the life of Ivana, it could have been a real warning of what was to come with Donald.
Hello, this is Hana Trojankova and you are listening to podcast Rant. And this one will be a little different than usual because as you can hear, I am speaking English. Ahoj, já jsem Hana Trojanková, vy posloucháte Rant Prostoru a dneska to bude trošku jinak než obvykle, protože mluvím anglicky a je to proto, že tady mám jednu velmi drahou a významnou hostku, Morgan Henley. Hi, how are you?
Great, it's great to be here.
Morgan, I will introduce you shortly. Morgan Henley works as a policy expert at CEE Bankwatch, an NGO based in Prague on renewable energy. She has lived in Prague for 13 years and is originally from Jacksonville, Florida. So, Morgan, the topic you actually brought here is very interesting for me, and I'm very happy that you picked it because you could actually choose anything. But you want to focus on prominent Czech women, right?
Yes.
So what do you want to rant about?
So I was thinking about it because I recently watched the series Iveta, and I thought it was really well done. It was really great. I knew a bit about Iveta. She was already alive when I moved here, and she was really in the tabloids a lot. So, but I didn't know the full, childhood, the adolescence, and all that. So I think we need more biopics of Czech women.
Mm-hmm. And do you have someone else in mind besides Iveta Bartošová?
I think the world is waiting for and needing the biopic on Ivana Trump. It's time. It's time. It's time to get the people of Zlín to start speaking. We are waiting for, the lost daughter of the Czech Republic to, get her fame. I mean, not that she needs fame. She's a legend in and of herself. But the real story, I think that's really left untold, especially the Czech side of it.
We actually started talking about Ivana Trumpova at first, which actually I was quite amazed that you picked Ivana Trump as someone who is cinema-worthy. But you are not a fan of Donald Trump, right?
I think it's safe to say no. I hope I can get back into the U.S. After saying that, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the thing is that Ivana Trump is actually really a prominent figure in Czech and American history, basically. And there's really no interest in writing books about her. I don't know, there are no documentaries even. There is no TV series. Why do you think that we are not interested in interesting Czech women at all?
I mean, for Ivana especially, she had this NDA. She had this non-disclosure agreement, so she couldn't really speak about a lot after the divorce with Donald. So, but now that she's no longer here with us, I think that's no longer valid. So, it's time to really dig into what made her her, and the actual story of, because she was quite a character. She wasn't just a pretty face, unlike maybe some of other wives of Trump. And she was really a dynamic figure in his entire creation of this, figure, and also the mother of his three oldest children, which are very powerful people in the world today.
Do you have some favorite stories about Ivana Trump that you would like to see in this series, in this TV series, or a film, or maybe a documentary?
My favorite Ivana story is they were somewhere in the Alps on a family vacation. It was with the kids and Donald, and she realized he had brought his mistress with him. It would become his second wife, Martha Maples, and I think they were in the chalet at the ski village, and he realized that she caught him, and he tried to ski away from her. But she was a world-class skier. She had moved to the U.S. as a professional skier. She was like an Olympic-grade skier. So, I mean, just the fact that Donald thought he could out-ski her, of all things, I think really shows the dynamics between the two of them.
Yeah, you think that Ivana Trump is actually a very interesting figure to watch. What about her children?
I mean, we see a lot of them. We also saw a lot of Ivana in the 90s. I mean, growing up, she was always like a pop culture figure. You know, she's in this movie, The First Wives Club. She makes an appearance. She was always on TV. There was a Pizza Hut commercial with her and Donald. But, I mean, now we only see the Trump children as sort of just talking heads about supporting whatever their father's doing. It's really curious to me that Ivanka is not in the political eye right now. She's just being a socialite in Miami, which, okay, but I just can't imagine that's where her ambition ends. I'm from Florida. Being a socialite in Miami, it gets boring after a while. There's only so many country clubs you can spend your time at, so...
So why do you think that is?
I think they're planning for Ivanka's big comeback. I think she's going to be the next candidate for president after Donald no longer can run. And what better way to keep her out of controversy than, just be doing fundraisers in South Florida with Jared and her kids.
Yeah. Family life, chilling.
Yeah, wholesome... Real American mom.
Surfing. She's surfing.
She surfs.
Yeah, she's surfing a lot.
She doesn't even have a cosmetics brand or face care. That seems like the basic thing she could be doing, and she's not. So.
So you think that the reason that she's not very business savvy at the moment or business oriented is because she will be political in the future?
Yeah, she's clearly, always has been Donald's favorite. So I don't think she's running away from Dad either. I think there must be a strategy there. And she's smart. She's always been the smartest of the kids, visibly. So I think, Jared, he's got some planning going on. He's not just also sitting there passively making money, I don't think, for the rest of his life.
When I was watching them, actually, even with Ivana, she passed quite tragically, She fell from the stairs in her beautiful elevated home in New York City. And I think it was a really tragic, but also kind of iconic way to, pass away for a woman like her. So, but now her grave is actually at the golf course. So what do you think about that? When we come back to the movie or to the TV series, would this be good ending, for a series like that, to have your grave at the golf course?
It's so symbolic. Tolstoy couldn't write anything more tragic. It's such a, full circle of how this man completely changed her life, and for good or for bad or I don't know. And in many ways, I think if we would have followed the life of Ivana, it could have been a real warning of what was to come with Donald. The testimony from the court case about the violence, she could have been the one that we should have been listening to say, this man has no limits. But instead, she just became the butt of a joke of, this rich socialite in New York City who didn't know right from wrong.
Yeah, I think she was taken as a butt of a joke, as a blonde woman with lots of plastic surgery, and she was ridiculed often. Why do you think, though, that, for example, in the Czech cultural space, we don't value the women who are exceptional in some way as much as the men, because you mentioned when we talked about this topic that your sister watched a movie about a film about Milada Horáková on Netflix, and that it was somehow very important to her, right? Or she understood something about Czech politics or Czech history. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's Czech storytelling, filmmaking especially, for me, I always feel it's either about communism or about World War II. And instead of telling stories that actually show, a story about a Czech woman is a story of communism and World War II, depending on when she was living. But instead of, it's still the sort of military base, the real government intrigue, etc. I think this is this documentary that just came out, I'm Not Who I Want to Be. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a great story of, Czechoslovakia and communism, etc. But it's a story of her. And you're seeing her story, but through that you also see a really great snapshot of the country. Mm-hmm. And we need more dynamic stories like that. And I think also, more about the present. That's also why Iveta was really interesting. And I think there's a lot of other women whose stories that think it's time to be told.
If we come back to Iveta, what was so interesting for you?
Because it's a story about this kind of uncaptured time of, when in the 90s, the sort of normalization and how pop culture and how it was, so state-controlled, but that also meant very male-controlled, and that she was sort of this, puppet for them to use and project how they wanted to build the new sort of sound of music then. But, also the story is just fantastic. It's impossible not to want to watch and see what happens, and it does really make you think, how much of control did she have over her own self, over her own image, of her own future? It didn't really feel like much at all.
If you would write a script about Ivana Trump, you said that you would focus more on the Czech side of the story. So what actually interests you?
Because I believe she was married a few times before Donald. So how did that happen? Was it just an agreement to get out of, to get to Austria? Because she was in Austria before she moved to the States. How did that happen? Did she have these ambitions from really early on? Or was it just something that kind of the plan fell into her lap? She was a pretty blonde girl and, men took interest in her. And to see also how much of, her past was then transferred to Donald. It was his first wife. You can imagine that she was quite impactful on him. And when we see his style of communication today, it's very propaganda-esque. And it's hard to imagine that, that some of it wasn't also influenced by her upbringing here.
We are speaking about the Trump family. You are from the US. You live here, but you actually mentioned that maybe you are scared that you won't be able to return. Is it something that you think about?
I have a U.S. passport. I'm not worried. I think it'll be okay. If I didn't have a U.S. passport, it might be different, and I wanted to go to the U.S. I still believe we have, rights to speak up, and it's not totally lost yet, but it's also... I don't know if Trump is really listening to Rant Prostoru, but apparently his kids are fluent in Czech, so maybe it's their regular listening.
There is one segment of our podcast which is called The Way Out. So what do you think Czech filmmakers should do actually at the moment?
I think it's time to, get down his lane, start talking, start asking, her friends and family that are still there. They're still there, apparently. And just trying to get a better picture and I think it's also probably scary. There's no way that won't be done, and probably some, legal action wouldn't follow. So have the backing of people who aren't afraid to, tell an actual honest story and go for it. And also look at other stories of Czech women. I think there's lots of stories out there. Isn't it time to maybe think about a Havelova biopic? When is that coming?
Exactly. Yes. Dagmar Havlova biopic. I want it. I'm craving this.
I think we've kind of mined the story of Václav Havel. There's no stone left unturned. But she was always just kind of a background player in all of these films and everything about Václav. So
I just recently watched the second season of the Meghan Markle show, With Love, Meghan. And she mentioned Hedy Lamarr, who was Czech-born actress, quite famous in Hollywood, and she also invented Wi-Fi. So where is her biopic, I want to know? Czech-born woman who actually discovered Wi-Fi. Hello? Who is listening to this? So I very much share your rage, I would say. Or maybe I have my own rage. But I really think that we should focus on Czech prominent and very intelligent and established women more and just show their stories.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So thank you very much, Morgan. This was Morgan Henley. And you are listening to Rant Prostoru. Posloucháte Rant Prostoru. Já se vám omlouvám za svou angličtinu, ale snažila jsem se. Tady Hana Trojánková. Tohle byl první anglický Rant Prostoru a vy nás poslouchejte prosím dál. Mějte se krásně. Ahoj. Bye.
Perspectives. €1, many stories.